Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very exciting video and I'm going to be doing half of my face with high-end products and the other half of my face with more affordable drugstore makeup. So I've seen this video all around YouTube for the last couple of months. There's so many other beauty gurus that have done exactly the same thing. So the high-end makeup versus the affordable drugstore makeup. And these videos are so interesting to watch. I think that if you guys are on a budget or if you wanted to experiment with makeup but didn't want to splurge the cash on the higher end products, I think that it's really good to see side by side comparisons of high end products and also affordable products. So I'm going to go through this video and show you one side of my face with the high end products and the other side of my face with more affordable drugstore makeup. So I'm going to be showing you everything from like primers to foundations to eyeshadows. The only two things that I'm not going to show you is eyebrow products, but I'm a firm believer in the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz and I've been using it non-stop for about a year or 2 years now and I absolutely love the formula of that eyebrow pencil. I use it on a daily basis and I haven't actually found a drugstore alternative that I think is as good as that. So I would always use that pencil. I just think it's one of those things that I'm quite happy to splurge that cash on because I'm always going to get the desired result that I want from it. And the other thing that I'm not going to show you is also false eyelashes. I don't really feel like there's much of a comparison between the two. So I'm going to be going through this video as well, showing you guys the prices of each product that I use and also side by side swatches so you can see the colour difference and also you can see the formula as well. So I don't actually know if you guys can tell which side is which. I'm actually really impressed and happy with the way this tutorial turned out because I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit different. I do feel like the lips are slightly different colours but not something where someone would look at me a little bit weird. I feel like quite comfortable and confident enough that I can go out and people wouldn't think, oh my gosh, she's got completely different eyeshadows on. I do think like all of these colours really match quite well. So again, I don't really know if you guys can guess what side it is, but this side is all high-end product and this side is all drugstore affordable makeup. So it is currently 10:30 at night. I decided to film really late today because it is absolutely baking in the UK at the moment. Like I think yesterday it reached 34 or 35 degrees and I am not good in that heat whatsoever. Really did not want to film during the day because I would have all of my studio lighting on and it would just be a big hot and sweaty mess in here. So I do apologise if the lighting is a little bit off. I've tried to sort of manipulate it in a way that it kind of looks like daylight but in reality it's really dark outside. So guys, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you here as a subscriber, so don't forget to click the link right here and it will notify you of all of my upcoming videos. So anyway guys, I'm going to stop rambling on and I'm going to jump straight into this video. So if you guys want to see one half of my face with high-end products and the other side with affordable dupes, then just keep watching. God, it is so hot. The first thing I'm going to show you is a couple of primers, one of which is the Loreal Lumi Mogique. This one is a very inexpensive primer. It's a very glowy primer and it really makes sure that your foundation sits nicely on the skin and it's one of my favourite drugstore primers. Absolutely love this one. And a high-end primer would be the Becca backlighting primer. Both of these primers are really glowy and yeah, they just pretty much do a very similar thing. So this side of my face I'm going to be using affordable products and this side I'm going to be using high-end. So I'm going to start off first with the L'Oreal Lumi Mogique primer and I'm just going to be smoothing that onto the skin. So this primer has got more of a sort of champagne white glow to it and the Becca backlighting one is more on the sort of goldy side. So you can see on this side already just how much glow it's given to the skin, and then I'm just going to be going in with the Becca. So as you can see, this one is a lot more gold. So now the skin is nice and primed. You can see it just added a really nice sort of subtle glow to the skin, which I absolutely love. And I think it's like one of my favourite primers for the summertime because obviously you want that sort of glowy lit from within skin, and I think those primers really help in achieving that. So now moving on to foundations, I'm going to be starting off with the more affordable product. This one is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot All Day Liquid to Powder Foundation. This one is very full coverage and it's very nice to wear if you want that kind of like flawless look to your skin, which I do. There's nothing natural about me. And then for the more high-end products, I'm going to be going in with the Clinique 2-in-1 Beyond Perfecting Foundation. This foundation has got a concealer built into it, so again very full coverage and very comparable to the Soap & Glory one. So I'm going to be starting off with the Soap & Glory and I'm just going to be using my beauty blender just to pat that into the skin. So that is one layer of foundation on this side, and as you can see, it's covered up a lot. So it's covered up any discoloration. I tend to get a lot of redness around here, and also a lot of scarring and stuff from like previous spots and acne and stuff, that type of thing. So it's really covered up nicely. It's also really weird how this eye looks really small now I put foundation over it. So now we're going to be going in with the Clinique Beyond Perfecting. So I actually think the colour match is really good. I was expecting it to be a little bit off, but it actually matches really well. So I really think that these two foundations are really similar in consistency and the way they look on the skin. I honestly cannot tell the difference between the two, and I'm actually really surprised at the colour match as well. I was thinking the colour was going to be a little bit off. So now the foundation is on, it feels really nice and dry, so it doesn't feel like it's going to sort of slip and slide all over the face, especially in this really hot weather. So I do think these foundations are really good for the hotter months. So now moving on to concealers. So I'm going to be starting off with a more affordable concealer. So this one is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. This is one of my favourite concealers. I feel like I use this all the time. You can see how much I've used it. I think I've repurchased this probably about 3 or 4 times now. I absolutely love it, and it covers up so much. So I'm just going to be putting this underneath the eye in a triangle shape. So this concealer as well is really full coverage. So it's great for covering up dark circles. So now moving on to the higher end concealer, I'm going to be taking this MAC Prolongwear, again one of my all-time favourites. This is very full coverage. So again, I'm just going to be blending that in with my beauty blender. And also both of these concealers do not crease on me as well. I think they're absolutely amazing. So now they're both blended out. Obviously this one is a slight difference obviously in the colour, because again I can't match all the colours of concealer together. So this one is a little bit more sort of my skin tone, and this one is more of a brightening one. So if I was doing more of a contoured look, I would always go in with a lighter colour just to sort of highlight underneath the eyes. So now moving on to powders. So if you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I'm really into the whole baking technique. I just think it really helps with how your concealer sits and wears throughout the day. So first of all, I'm going to be going in with this affordable powder. This one is a collection sheer loose powder. I've spoken about this before. I absolutely love it. So I am going to be putting quite a heavy dusting of this with my beauty blender underneath my eyes. Okay, and now moving on to the higher end product. I think you guys can pretty much guess what one I'm going to use, and that is the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and it is my all-time favourite baking powder. I absolutely love it. So I'm just going to be putting this on the other eye. So the Laura Mercier one is slightly paler in colour, but again both of them do pretty much exactly the same thing. But I just really like the Laura Mercier one, because I really do think it sort of highlights and brightens underneath the eye, as well as sort of setting your concealer into place. So while that concealer is baking away, I'm just going to be going in and filling in my eyebrows. I don't really have sort of like affordable dupes for the products that I use. I just absolutely love the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I also love this L'Oreal Artist Plumper. So again, this one is more of an affordable option, but the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, so it's a little bit more on the pricier side. So now the eyebrows are done, I'm now going to be dusting away the excess powder. So as you can see, the higher end side is a little bit more highlighted, and this side is sort of matching my skin tone a little bit more. So now moving on to bronzers, I'm going to be taking my favourite bronzer of all time, and this one is by Too Faced. This is the Milk Chocolate Soleil. I use this all the time. I absolutely love it. It's just really good for fair skinned people, and they do have like different colours of bronzer depending on your skin tone, but if you're more on the fairer complexion like me, you would absolutely love this, because it gives a really sort of nice subtle glow to the skin, and also it helps contour as well without looking too heavy. So first of all, I'm going to be contouring this side of my face and also warming up the skin. So I just like to go around the sides of my forehead, also my cheekbones and my jawline as well. So now that bronzer is on, you can just see how much warmth and definition it's added to the face. So another bronzer that I really love, and also a more affordable bronzer, is by L'Oreal, and this one I think is their Glam Bronze. I actually don't know. This one is in the shade 00, so I believe one of the lighter shades, and very, very comparable to the Too Faced one in colour and also formula as well. So this one is a little bit more on the creamy side, but again, a really, really nice powder to use for contouring. So I'm going to be doing exactly the same process on this side of the face. So I do think, looking at these products actually on the skin, I think that this L'Oreal one is slightly more orange toned than the Too Faced one. The Too Faced one is a little bit more on the cooler side, but again, once it's all blended out, I don't actually think that you'll see much of a difference. I hope not anyway. So now that's all blended out, I think they match really, really well, and yeah, I'm really, really impressed. I think the L'Oreal one is slightly again on the more orangey side, but now it's all blended out, I think they look really good together. So now moving on to blushes, I'm actually going to be going into this Smashbox blush and contour palette. So this one I actually bought on my recent trip to Rhodes and when I went to Sephora, and it's got 4 different blushes and a bronzer and also a highlighter in it. So I'm going to be taking this more corally orangey shade and I'm going to be putting that on this side of the face. So these powders are super pigmented. They literally, again, only need to tap your brush into it, tap off the excess and you're good to go. So now moving on to the more affordable blushes, I'm going to be taking this palette, also by Makeup Revolution, and this is one of my favourite blush palettes. So I'm going to be taking up this shade here, and this one is very, very similar colour to the one that I've just put on, and very, very similar in formula as well. So again, you only need to tap your brush into it and tap off the excess and you're good to go. So again, I don't think that you can tell much difference between the two. It just gives a really sort of nice corally, peachy look to the cheeks, which I absolutely love. So now moving on to highlighters, which is one of my favourite things to do. So I'm going to be picking up my favourite high-end highlighter, and this is probably one of my all-time favourites. This one is the Mirror Luminizer by the Balm, and it's just a really beautiful sort of champagne and gold highlight. So I'm just going to be adding that to the high points of this cheekbone. So now moving on to the more affordable highlighters, I'm going to be taking this palette by Sleek. I've used this a ton in my videos recently, and I think it was about £10, which again, it's very, very inexpensive. You get 3 powder highlighters and 1 cream highlighter. So I'm going to be mixing these 2 colours together. This one is more on the sort of champagne side, and this one is more on the bronzy golden. But these 2 together is going to give a very, very similar shade to the Mirror Luminizer and give a very similar effect. So again, these are very, very pigmented highlighters, and I think they're absolutely fantastic for the money. So I'm just going to be adding this to the higher points of this cheekbone. So as you can see, this side is from the Mirror Luminizer and this one is the Sleek palette, and I absolutely love both highlighters, and I think that you cannot really tell much of a difference. It just gives a really nice glow to the cheeks. So now moving on to eyeshadows. This is probably one of my favourite parts about this video because I found an exact dupe to these palettes. So for the high-end palette, I'm going to be taking this one by Urban Decay. This is the original Urban Decay Naked palette. So as you can see, it's got loads and loads of different colours in it. You can create various different looks, whether or not you want to be more natural or more dramatic. It's got a mixture of shimmer and mattes in there as well, and they're very, very pigmented and very, very blendable. So as an affordable alternative, I feel like I'm probably talking a lot about Makeup Revolution, but this palette here is an exact dupe. So I'm going to be showing you comparisons side by side so you can see exactly how much of a dupe these palettes are. So again, you've got loads and loads of different colours in there, and the colours are pretty much exactly the same as the Urban Decay Naked palette. They're very, very pigmented and very, very blendable as well. So I'm going to start off with the Urban Decay Naked palette. So the first colour that I'm going to pick up out of the palette is this one here called Naked, which is a very, very good light brown, and then I'm going to be buffing this into the crease. So I'm a huge fan of Urban Decay. I think their eyeshadows are amazing. They're very highly pigmented and very nice and blendable. So now going into the Makeup Revolution palette, and this palette doesn't actually have names, but I'm going to be picking up this shade here, which I believe is the pretty much exact same shade I just put on this eye. So I'm going to be using this as a transitional shade as well. So So now going back into the Urban Decay Naked palette, I'm going to be picking up this shade here called Buck, and this one is more of a sort of darker mid-toned brown. So I'm going to be using this into the crease and also the outer corners of this eye. And again, going into the Makeup Revolution palette and just picking up this shade here. So as you can see, very similar again. I feel like this one is a little bit more pigmented, but this one had to work a little bit harder just to get the colour payoff exactly the same as this eye. So now I'm going to be taking the colour Dark Horse, which is this one right here, which is more of a darker greyish brown with a lot of shimmer in it. So I'm just going to be putting this into the outer V of my eye. And again, I don't want to go too heavy-handed with the shade because it is a shimmer shade, and I'm not a massive fan of shimmers through the crease. So I'm just going to go in and buff that out. So now going into the Makeup Revolution palette, I'm just going to be taking this shade right here. Okay, so now moving on to a lid colour, I'm going to be taking this colour here called Half Baked, which is probably one of my favourite eyeshadows of all time. It's just a really beautiful gold and I use it so much. So I'm just going to be using this all over the lid. So now moving on to the Makeup Revolution palette, I'm going to be taking this shade right here and I'm going to be putting that all over the lid as well. So now all the eyeshadows are blended out, and as you can see, you really can't tell that much of a difference between the two, and I really do think the colour matches are pretty much perfect. I do think with the Makeup Revolution palette it is less pigmented than the Urban Decay one, but again, with a price point with the Makeup Revolution, if you really wanted to save the money and not splurge on the Urban Decay and Naked palette. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. So now I'm going to be moving on to eyeliner. So I'm going to be using pencil eyeliners today rather than gel eyeliners, but if you guys wanted a really good affordable gel eyeliner, I would highly recommend this Rimmel one. It's very good and very comparable to some of the higher end gel eyeliners that I use, such as like Inglot or MAC, and it's just a really good affordable one from the drugstore. So now moving on to the pencils, the first one that I'm going to be using is this one by NARS. This is one of my favourite black eyeliners. It's extremely pigmented and really creamy as well, so I really like to use this in the waterline and also on the upper and lower lash line as well. I just think it gives a really sort of nice soft definition to the lash line. So I'm just going to be smudging this eyeliner in as well. So now moving on to the more affordable product. This one is by Makeup Geek in the colour Obsidian. I think this one tops all of the pencil eyeliners that I own. I absolutely love this. It's very creamy, it does not drag on the eyes at all, and it is super pigmented. So I'm going to be doing exactly the same steps that I did on this eye. Okay, so now moving on to mascaras. I'm not a huge mascara person because I do tend to wear a lot of false eyelashes, but one of my favourite mascaras to use is the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. So I'm just going to be taking this and adding a couple of coats to this eye. So now moving on to the more affordable mascaras, I'm going to be taking this one by Bourjois. This is the Push Up Volume Glamour Mascara, and the wands are very similar. So I'm just going to be adding a couple of coats to this eye. So now the mascara is on, I'm going to be going in and adding some false eyelashes. So I'm going to be going in with these Loreal lashes. I actually forget the name of these, but I'll leave everything linked down below in the description box. But I'm going to go and pop these on. Okay, so now the eyelashes are on and the glue is drying. So I'm just going to be finishing off underneath the eyes. So I'm going to be taking the colour Buck again, and I'm going to be buffing this into the lower lash line with a dome shaped brush. And again, going back into the Makeup Revolution palette and just picking up this shade right here, and I'm going to be doing exactly the same on the other eye. Okay, so now to add a couple of finishing touches, I'm just going to be going in with this shade here called Creep, and I'm just going to be pushing this up on the lower lash line as well. So this is just going to add a little bit more sort of definition to the lash line and sort of help blend out that eyeliner as well. And again, going back into the Makeup Revolution palette and picking up this shade right here. So now I'm just going to go in and add some mascara as well. So again, I'm just going to be using the Too Faced Better Than Sex on this eye and the Bourjois mascara on this eye. So now I just want to add a highlight to the inner corners of the eye and also the brow bone. So I'm going to be going back into the Urban Decay palette and picking up this shade here called Virgin. And again, going back into the Makeup Revolution palette and picking up this shade right here. So now I'm going to be moving on and finishing off the face by adding some lip product. So I'm going to be showing you some lip liners, a lipstick and also a lip gloss. So for lip liner, I'm going to be taking this one by MAC. This is the Prolongwear lip pencil in the colour In Anticipation. So it's a really sort of nice and nudie pink. So I'm just going to line this side of my lips, and this is where it probably all goes wrong. So now moving on to the more affordable lip liner. This one is by NYX in the colour Grapefruit. This one is their waterproof lip liners. They're very, very creamy and very, very long wearing. So I'm just going to be outlining my lips on this side. So now moving on to lipstick. So the high-end one that I'm going to be taking is this one by Tom Ford. I absolutely love these lipsticks, but they are very, very pricey. And this is in the colour Pink Tease. So again, it's just a really beautiful pink. So it's great for summer. So I'm going to be putting this on this side of my lips. This feels really weird, like not being able to put it on the other side. Really weird. So now moving on to the more affordable lipsticks. I feel really weird talking like this with one lipstick on and the other completely bare. It just feels really, really alien. But I'm going to be taking this one by New Look. I think I spoke about these lipsticks before. They are very, very good formula lipsticks. They last a really long time as well. And this colour is pretty much exactly the same as that Tom Ford one in the colour Pink Tease. So as you can see, this one by New Look is slightly more pinky, but again, I don't think that many people would take much of a notice of it. But I can see the difference in the colours. But again, I just think they're really, really similar in formula, and the price point is just phenomenal between the two products. So I really do think that if you are in the hunt for a really good lipstick, I would try the New Look brands, because I was really surprised that New Look actually had a makeup range, and I was actually looking for paraben-free products for a client, and I stumbled across these because these don't contain any parabens in it, and they are just a really, really good lipstick, and I've been loving them ever since. Okay, so now moving on to lip glosses. I'm going to be taking this one by NARS. This is in the colour Myths, and it's just a really sort of nice glossy nudie pink. So I'm just going to be going over this Tom Ford lipstick. So now moving on to the more affordable lip glosses, I'm going to be taking this one by NYX. This is the Butter Gloss, and this is in the colour Tiramisu, one of my favourite lip glosses. So I do think, looking at the lips, I do think I can see a slight difference in the colours. I think this side, the higher end side, is a lot more of a deeper pink, and this one is a lot more of a sort of subtle pink. So guys, that is the end of this video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed watching this. I actually really enjoyed filming this, and I'm really, really happy with the way that it looks. I really don't think there's much difference between the two sides of the face, and it was just a really fun video to film and show you guys that you don't necessarily have to splurge loads of cash to get a really good result with makeup. So again, I really, really hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you all again soon. Bye!